Hey guys, this is Chad Close here. This is the first of many tutorials that I am going to post on my website on a YouTube channel called Close Blender or just Blender Tutorials. You guys can expect a lot more Blender tutorials, so you guys can hit the subscribe button if you're new learners, or if you're just interested in 3D modeling, you should hit the subscribe button and keep following. This video is going to talk about the basics of getting started with a free open source program called Blender. You can create 3D models, scenes, some CG stuff. It's a pretty cool program. It's you go to blender.org and then you go to download. And I have a Windows 64-bit, so you could just hit the USA one right there, or you could get the zip archive one. And then it has Mac and Linux and 32-bit too. So you guys can just go there, download, and then just follow the on-screen instructions and download that. We are going to open it up by simply double-clicking on Blender. And then a little black box will show up, and that will go away after this window, the main window, pops up. So let's open Blender back up here. Alright, so this is going to be the opening screen. If you're new, there won't be any recent. Might say new, I don't know, I'm not for sure. But you can just click off that, and it brings you to the main user interface. If you're using a laptop, what you're going to want to do is you go to File, and then User Preferences, and it's going to pop up this window right here. And you should go to Input, and emulate numpad right here. This will allow you to use your 1 through 9 up on the top of the keyboard to emulate like a number pad that's on a normal keyboard. Make sure you have that up and then just save as default. I already have that on. Other things you might want to do is go to Add-on, go to Mesh Tools, or it's Loop Tools, my bad, Loop Tools, and check this little box that's right here. That's it's a really nice tool set that I use very frequently. This main thing right here, it says what view you are in. Right now we are in a user view, so just a custom, and perspective. So what that means is there is depth. If you hit the 5 key, you can change to ortho, and then everything is 1:1 scale. There's no depth. This is what you will do pretty much all your modeling in. Next, the hotkeys are very important in using these programs. It helps you go faster and be more efficient. 1 is front, you can see up here. 3 is the right, and 7 is the top. Now, say you want to go to the back, you'd hit Control, hold Control, and then hit 1, and then you go to the back. And then it's the same with 3 and 7. Alright, so let's go. And then, as default, our default cube is in the middle. Over here, on the right hand side, there is your organizers. It has all the objects that are in the scene. So camera, cube, lamp. That's what we have right now. And down here is properties. So if you go to this object tab, you can rename objects. And also you can, if there's a cube, you can apply modifiers, which are very important. And we'll get to that in later episodes. Next down here we have a timeline. So if you want to do animations or CG stuff, you'd use this. We're just going to go back to frame 1. Over on the left hand side, this is called the object tools. You hit T, the T button, and it brings up this side. It just has some tools that you will use when you're modeling, shading, and if you go into edit mode, there's other tools. If you hit the N key, you'll bring up this one, and this has location, rotation, things like that. Your coordinates of your 3D cursor, which is where you click. We can just center that right now. Display, other settings that we won't talk about right now. And then up on top is your basic toolbar. So if you wanted to save, you can go File, Save, and then just go to whatever file and save it. You can also open recent here and save as. You can also import and export, which come important if you're exporting models. Alright, now down here, object mode. So in the scene there's objects, and then inside the objects you can go to edit mode. So you can hit object and go to edit mode, or you can hit the tab key, which is faster, and it just switches between the last two views you were in. There's also sculpt mode, which you can use different tools to sculpt it. There is vertex paint, which I haven't played with, so I will not comment on that. Texture, you can paint your objects certain texture, and there's weight, which is for bones and rigging objects. Alright, down here, if I'm going too fast or anything, you can always just pause the video, go back, watch it again. This is viewport shading, so you can see the texture that it is, the solid, the wireframe of it, and bounding box. So I'm not going to get too much into detail in there. Down here there are layers. We can play around with that later. Alright, let's look at the main interface. This, if by default you have arrows to move the keys, the cube, my bad. Y is along the y-axis, red is X, and Z is up and down. I'm not sure why Z is up and down instead of Y, but that's how they decided to do it in this program, and I'm not going to argue. Up here, you can change between the renderer you're using, so Cycles and Blender. I like Cycles better, but we're just going to stick with Blender right now. If you wanted to add an object to the scene, you can go up to Add, Mesh, and we'll just do a UV sphere. By default, it will go exactly where your 3D cursor is, and then you can move it around, or you can go into this toolbar by hitting T, add an object, and down here you can hit the location, put it to zeros, and set a rotation, and so forth and whatnot. Alright. To delete, the delete key does work, but a faster key is actually the X key. It's delete, and it's delete in this program. If we go into edit mode, down here, right here, you can change your selection mode. So right now I'm in vertex, so I select vertexes. Next we can go to edges, and we can select edges. And then the last one is faces. Now it's similar to most documents, where if you hold the shift key you can select more than one, and then if you can just deselect them. Control key does not do anything. If you hit, actually we're not going to do that right now, that'll be for a different tutorial. What else do you guys need to know? I think that's all that I'm going to cover. Just basic modeling, kind of just the interface. Stay tuned and follow along. Thank you, and make sure to subscribe.